All right, let's go ahead. Just open it up for questions.
Yeah, Rod, you've been in a lot of third and long. I think it was 8 times on Saturday, 7 times the game before that. When those numbers are such a large number, are you making more, when moving forward, do you make more drastic changes with play calling, or how do you kind of modulate trying to stop those situations? You know, obviously execution's part of it, but you know, how do you react when those numbers are so large?
Yeah, well, first off, it's not good to be in third and long, and so you want to do everything you can as a play caller to stay out of it. And obviously I haven't at times, sometimes I have. And some of that is when you're aggressive on first down and it doesn't work, you know, then you're setting yourself up for a little third and long there. So there's a balance on how you go ahead and attack that. Last 2 weeks we have not done a good enough job of that. I think that was probably a key factor in, well, I know that was a key factor in this week in not having the production that we wanted to have as far as points. But yeah, there's a balance in there, but certainly there's not drastic changes that you make as far as scheme-wise and things like that. You just go ahead and try to manage it as best you can with still maintaining a level of aggressiveness.
Have you always been an aggressive first down kind of guy? Is that kind of your philosophy, like style, or just what you felt like?
I think there's some, you know, game dictated, matchup dictated ways that you'd go ahead and attack that. But I mean, they call it offense for a reason, right? We're on offense, they're on defense. So I mean, it's our chance to be offensive. Am I using that the right way, Don? I don't know if I am. All right, go ahead.
It's the first time Brendan has had a full game of data to go on. What was your feedback to him, and what was maybe some of his feedback to you? Yeah, so,
well, first off, I'll address it as an entire offense, is that no one on offense played good enough to win. I think that is obvious. But as it pertains to Brendan in particular, I certainly think he played his rear end off. He played physical, he used his feet, he did those things, but it still wasn't in that category of good enough to win. And I think he recognized that as we were talking. And, you know, so we have to go and clean up. And really, guys, there isn't a ton of blatantly big things. You know, it's some of the young quarterback issues that we have to work through because none of us are young anymore. We're in game 8 now, coming on up here. So that kind of has gone by the wayside with that. Now for him, certainly first full time, so you have a little more leeway with him on that. But there's some little fundamental technique things, like you saw some high throws on some guys that were open and things like that we just got to clean up now that he knows how his body will react more in those situations with that.
Trent Howland, I think, has come close to doubling like his career carry total just in the last couple weeks. I know he's a young guy, and some of it's probably just progress, but just how has he maybe gotten to a place where you feel like he needs more carries, he deserves more carries?
Okay, so good. Under the same thing that I just laid out on everything, that when I talk about guys doing some good things, it's still in that category of not good enough to win, and I think we all know that as a unit offensively and as coaches on that. But Trent certainly starting the week before at Michigan showed us enough to get more reps, and then showed us enough here to get even more reps going forward. And I think that started in practice, his entire practice, this fall camp and everything, and then certainly got his opportunities. And when you get your opportunities in games and you execute the way he has been, that deserves more. So that's going to continue to go up. It's good to see a forward lean. It's good to see guys finishing downhill, and he's certainly done that.
We saw that Josh Henderson was listed as available this week, but didn't really see the field much, if at all, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. How available is he going into this week, and was that just kind of a precautionary thing?
Well, yes would be the short answer to all of that. He was available, probably precaution, probably game dictated. We only had 26 snaps in the first half. So a little bit harder to get him in that situation when he's coming back. Is he 100% yet? Probably not, but he's really close. So, you know, we're anxious to get Josh back. He's a guy who's played a lot of football around here and, you know, has done some good things.
On Trent, you know, obviously, you know, he's a big guy, converted linebacker. You have a running back room with bunch of different guys with kind of different skill sets and different attributes they bring to the table. With Josh kind of on the way back, and with with all the guys you have, is it kind of tricky to find enough reps to get all of them in different spots in the game?
So I think here's what's tricky is that we haven't had enough offensive production to really say, here's a guy, right? I think when you get into a situation where you have enough production and you're executing at a high level, I think it's very easy to say, all right, this is the guy, and then these are the guys that are going to take some of the load off of that guy. We haven't had that. We've had guys that have had flashes, and that pertains to the entire offense. So when you're in that situation, yeah, that gets a little tricky, like how you manage those reps and how you do that specifically in the running back room. So we're looking for somebody, crank up the competition tomorrow and see, like who wants to start on Tuesday. And I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, I know you worked more closely with the offensive line last year, but just curious what you've kind of seen with just how you evaluate their play and kind of their growth, maybe from when you worked with them last year to kind of where they are at this point.
Well, I make no bones about it. I mean, I spent a lot of my time being an offensive line coach, but Bob Bostad, our line coach, is, one of the best in the country. And so the growth that they've had just from the mundane of routine and constant, activity in practice they've absolutely grown and gotten better. Now, are we perfect up there? And again, it's under the guise of nothing is good enough yet on offense to win. But certainly have been pleased to see that.
Rod, I hate to ask you a question you may not want to answer, but...
No, you don't. You love it.
How much input do you as the offensive coordinator have in regard to personnel decisions that you may see a player that you think can handle the position a little bit better, that kind of thing? How much input do you have as the offensive coordinator at this point?
On the offense, you're talking about, Fish?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, all those things are done with us as a staff. And then Coach Allen, obviously, we present him solutions. We don't present him problems. And then he'll agree, disagree, and then the discussion can ensue from there. It obviously starts and stops with the head coach when it comes to personnel decisions. But we have a heavy hand on that as far as what we're seeing day to day and what we're getting. What are you thinking right there? What is you just thinking overall personnel offensively?
And essentially, all I'm asking is, do you as the offensive coordinator, you see something that you like, can you go to that position coach and say, this kid really, I think,
oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a chain of command, right? And there's certainly, head coach and then coordinators and then position coaches. There's a chain of command on that. So if the head coach sees something, he tells me he wants this, and I say, all right, we're going to do that. And then same thing with me as it goes down there. But those things aren't like military orders, okay? Those are discussions. But, and usually when something like that happens, like, take Trent, for example, because we talked about Trent earlier. That was an easy discussion. Hey, Craig, Trent's running the ball really good right now. Let's see if we can keep him in there some. And Craig's like, I'm already way ahead of you. So usually you're very much in conjunction because everyone's seeing those things. But short answer is yes. The really long-winded answer is the one I just gave you. All right, thanks, guys.